our garden going right now. Once we have our garden going, and we will raise some fresh herbs and then we will use them more cheaply. But a luxury for us is to buy some fresh basil.
Basil.
Like growing basil. They have it at some of the stores. Fresh basil is such a wonderful ingredient to have. You can add it to everything. You can add it to anything you're cooking and it's delicious. But you can also make pesto with it. And I mentioned pesto because it is a basil-based sauce with oil in it, lots and lots of olive oil. And you could add nuts to it. A lot of people use pine nuts, but you don't have to. You could add walnuts, you could add peanuts, you could add a lot of different nuts to it, and it makes kind of a creamy texture. And a lot of people use that to dress salads. They toss noodles with it. They put it on vegetables, whatever. So pesto is a great thing to eat if you want to. On keto, it's fun, it's delicious, and it's made with fresh basil. You can make it with dried basil, but it's really not great. It really needs that fresh flavor.
It does.
You can buy, another thing is you can buy ready-made pesto. Again, read the ingredients. Very often it's high fat, low carb, and it's delicious. It's already made. So that's another thing. It usually will have pine nuts in it. Pine nuts are probably one of the most expensive nuts you can get outside of macadamia nuts, right? But you could make pesto with almost any nut that's on sale, right? If you use peanuts, it adds a lot of flavor to it, but almonds, walnuts, and all that stuff, it's really just the fat content. So that's that. So that's our shopping list that we recommend. We'll be sending out a document with the must-haves versus the, that needs to be plugged in. Is that computer not plugged in? Yeah, can you plug it in? Because it's low on.
Okay.
Low on. Do it really fast. Really fast. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next topic because I think we've covered this one. Unless somebody has any other questions about this topic. Anybody? Okay, if not, then away we go. Let's look at exercise as a challenge, a pleasure. It's a bad word. So people hate the word exercise, and it's usually because we've burnt out on it in past diet lives, right? So a lot of the time, exercise means going to a gym, sweating our faces off, losing weight temporarily, and then gaining it all back. So exercise doesn't always have a positive, connotation. Although it actually can be anything that you love to do. So if you redefine exercise as something that right now in your current state, which could not be maybe your best fitness. Obviously, you're on a challenge. You're on a journey to make yourself more fit and more energetic, right? Then obviously you're not going to be at your top fitness. You're not going to take the hardest things to do. Let's not climb the Himalayas this week, okay? But as exercise, you can also do very small things. So like I always say, 120 pounds ago, I would be challenged to walk up steps, like literally walking up 5 steps. When I got to the 5th step, I was already out of breath. So that was already exercise for me, right? So I could actually just concentrate on taking the steps instead of taking the elevator, and there's my exercise. It was that easy. Walking to the end of the block, like just taking a walk to the end of the block and back was big because I was carrying around another person. So, that was good enough. Little by little, as things got easier, then I realized I could do more things. And so I'm always telling you guys when we're coaching, if you could just do 15 minutes of something, 10 is good. 10 is fine. Something that just moves you around. That's all. Just moves you around. Mostly, I want you to get used to moving around. And secondly, this is a really important point, and I'm realizing very few people understand that they have 2 things that move fluids around in their bodies, and it's really serious, important stuff. So you have a heart, and it pumps blood through your system. Every beat of your heart sends blood out to the smallest capillary, even in your eyes, right? However, you don't have a pump for the other most important system in your body, which is your lymph system.
Right.
Your lymph system is super critical important. And 120 pounds ago, mine was pretty lethargic because I didn't move around a lot. And here's the thing, it doesn't have a pump. The way that it's designed is that it requires your muscles and your tendons and your ligaments to squeeze the lymph system to get it moving. You need to be moving.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons people that, poor souls that are in wheelchairs or partially paralyzed, or have an injury that stops them from moving around, one of the problems they're dealing with is that their lymph system is dead. It can't work because they are still, right? Plus, at night when you're sleeping, your lymph system doesn't work that well because you're sleeping,
Right.
okay? So the other 12 hours of the day or however many hours of the day, we want your lymph system working, because the way it works is that it takes a lot of toxicity and a lot of bad things that are in your body, pollutants and bad cells and free radicals and other bad stuff, and it removes it. It moves it out into a way that it allows you to excrete them.
Right.
Now you're drinking lots of water and lots of fluids. It helps doing that, but it needs to get there to be excreted. And the only thing that's doing that other than your kidneys and your liver is your lymph system. So your lymph system wants you to move around, and so we want you to move around.
So stay active.
So even if you're only 10 minutes, I don't care if you walk around your living room, whatever it is, at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day is great. At whatever fitness level you're at. Put that on your list of things. These are things I want to do for myself because I'm worth it, right? Whatever you're spending your day doing, I'm sure is super critical. I'm sure you're doing a lot of important things. You're taking care of a lot of other people. Please think about 10
yourself.
or 15 minutes a
For
day.
yourself.
And I don't want you to do anything that makes you feel like you're having a heart attack. So I have people that have 100, 150 pounds to lose, and we will get there. And they say, how about if I go up online and I do like a 30-minute aerobic lesson? Yeah, in the future, sure, let's do that, but
Maybe
not now.
yet.
Not right
yet.
this minute. Let's get ready for that. Let's just do something small. Let's get that under our belt, and at about 20 pounds, 30 pounds, we'll start going there, but not now. So that's important. Also, if you're not doing the other things like hydrating and getting enough sleep, the exercise is going to be too challenging. You're going to get really negative, and you're not going to want to do it.
Right.
Okay. But once we've gotten past the challenge, which is just incorporating, like moving around, I hate the word exercise, moving around every day, let's look at it from another perspective. I know this is a foreign concept to a lot of people because we've given up on it. Because once we stop being children, we forget that as children, the funnest thing that we did was run around, right? Play. We played, right? We ran around, we jumped on things, we played tag, we did all that stuff because guess what? It was fun. As adults, we're like, oh no, we're a bit too mature. No, you're not. So let's leverage your inner child. It's still in there somewhere, right? I live mine every day. It's kind of embarrassing how childlike I really am. But look at the things that you just feel like doing. Like, what would give you pleasure? Like, you may not be able to do it this minute, but I talked to someone like this that really has like 100 pounds to go. And she told me, you know what I'd really like to do? I'd like to put on like the Rolling Stones or the Beatles or some music, some rock music. And I would like to just be able to dance again
around.
like I did when I was in high school and not feel like I'm going to die. Like, I just like to have that in my repertoire, that when I feel like doing it, I could do it. I could go to a wedding and dance, because I love dancing, and not feel like I'm all sweaty, I look horrible, I don't want to do it, and not have to sit things out. I want to not sit things out. So we're moving in that direction. That will be her pleasure. That's her guilty pleasure. She just wants to dance. We have people that want to hula hoop, that want to do belly dancing, that are learning how to do striptease, which, by the way, is very good exercise. Line dancing, like cowboy dancing in Western bars. Some people want to learn how to, they've always thought that like lifting weights or resistance training was really cool, but they were never in that shape and they didn't do it. And now they want to learn how to do it. There's that. Water skiing, right?
It's all sorts of things.
Right, water skiing. Some lady said, I just like to water ski. I used to water ski when I was in college and I can't do it anymore. I'm too heavy. And when I mentioned it to my husband, he said, our boat can't lift you, right? So that's really nice.
And
I said, you know what? We are going to get you to the point where you can, if you want to, you can go back to your water skiing, go back to your gymnastics. I used to run track when I was a kid. Maybe you don't want to run track, but you
No.
want to be able to run again. You just want to run. Whatever that is, that's what your pleasure should be. Imagine doing something you love, and that's your exercise.
Right. It's not about being competitive.
No.
It's not about we have to win. We have to. It's just for your overall health.
Right. I saw a guy, bless his soul. I saw a guy when we were driving. He must have been 60 years old, maybe 70 years old, and he was what do you call it? The board, not
Skateboarding.
Skateboarding. He was skateboarding. Bless his soul. He definitely has an inner child. There's no question about it. And not only he was skateboarding, he was smiling, right? He obviously feels really great about himself that he can skateboard. And he is no spring chicken, let me tell you. I wanted to run past him and like applaud, like, yeah, you, right? And he looked pretty fit.
Yeah.
If he weighed 50 pounds more, I bet he wouldn't be doing that.
No.
Right? So that's what we're saying is, what's the thing that you think would be super fun to do? Right? Just super fun. That's activity. Anything. A lot of people, one of my daughters actually, her favorite activity is she loves to garden. She loves to plant things in the ground and, work with soil and dig and shovel and plant and sow and fertilize and do all these things. That's a really good activity, right? It may not be as aerobic as other things, but it's certainly a good activity. She gets fresh air, she gets sunshine. It's good for her.
You're working your muscles. It's not, maybe you're not burning the calories.
I also want to say that we also have several people that said, can I just clean the house? My house is just a mess. I live in this messy, dirty house, and I'm really busy the rest of the time, and I don't like my house. It would be a pleasure for me to just clean my kitchen. I just want to clean my kitchen. Go for it, man.
Go ahead.
I would say if you take 15 minutes a day and you pick some piece of your house and that's what you feel like doing and that's your activity and that's going to make you feel good, go for it.
Even if it's just sweeping.
Yeah, it could be sweeping. It could be scrubbing a floor, right? By the way, side note, in Russia, when you're about to have a baby, the obstetricians there tell you to go scrub a floor. It's a really interesting thing because they want you to have that exercise. And scrubbing a floor is like hard work.
It's hard work.
It also positions your belly downwards and it helps prepare for birth. So that's a really weird homeopathic thing, but it helps those women that haven't been able to keep up with exercise for a long time to get ready for labor, which is really big exercise.
Right.
And I think that's fascinating. So
it is.
If you're ever in Russia having a baby, they're going to ask you to scrub the floor. Just saying. All right. So anyway, the pleasure thing, some people pick a project. So I also want to point this out. So like cleaning the house. Another person said, you know what? I hate exercise. I do not want to do aerobics. I don't care about dancing. No, I'm not cleaning my house. None of those things work for me. But I do have a room that I want to paint. And I think what I'm going to do every day is I'm going to spend 15 minutes or half an hour getting this room ready to paint. That means I have to move furniture out. It means I've got to clean some stuff.
Right.
It means I've got to put blue tape everywhere. I've got to climb. I've got to do all this kind of stuff. That's what I'm going to do.
So there's all that physical activity.
It's cool. It's cool. Do that.
And some people love that because it's actually, they feel as if they're accomplishing something.
Yeah, so there is a problem there, and we've discussed it with her, is that she feels that 15 minutes just for herself isn't valuable enough. She's not comfortable with that. She has to do something more productive. Same thing with the cleaning the house and all of that. But you know what? If that's what gets you to move around, let's start there.
Right.
We feel that those types of people will move forward, will lose weight, and they will have more energy,
right,
and they will expand. And that's why we're saying do something small. Let's start taking some weight off. Let's start feeling better about ourselves, and then we'll move into other
right.
stuff.
Because some people think that, well, just going for a walk is kind of a waste of time.
Yeah. Somebody said, can I just wash my car? Yeah. You can go wash your car. It's not really ecological, environmentally good for you to wash your car in your driveway.
But it's physical activity.
But it's physical activity. But are you going to do that every day? I'm like, you're going to have to go wash like the neighbor's cars because you're not going to do it every day, right?
Clean out the garage.
Right. Clean out cabinets. Some people want to just, like, if it has to be a project, fine. Make it a project. But do something physical where you're moving around, you're not sitting 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Because some people say, I just don't have the time. Like, going out and taking a walk is a luxury I don't have.
And I believe them because I've been there. I understand that.
And it seems kind of frivolous.
I need a purpose.
I'd rather be actually checking something off my list.
But interesting thing, sometimes when we're exploring people's lives, and we will do this with all of you, and we ask them, okay, you don't have 15 minutes, tell us what you do in a day. Like someone will say, I have a small business, and every day, one of the things I do is I have to go to the bank and make a deposit. Turns out that this bank that she goes to is like a mile away. So you know what? Now she's walking to the bank. Just instead of driving there, she gets the exercise. It only takes like it takes a half hour for her to get there.
It serves a purpose.
It serves a purpose. She can do it. She feels good about it. And she gets her walk in. So sometimes you may not see what we see. We may see something that you do that you could do it a different way, and we can build your exercise into it. So let us help you if you can't figure that out. Exploration of yourself. Super important. So we're trying to get you guys to look at yourselves as someone who's valuable and someone that deserves your attention, right? So me, like I said, exercising was doing stuff I hated, sit-ups and planks and going to the gym and being smelly and sweaty with people I didn't want to talk to and having to get there and having to get home and have gym clothes and I hated it. But I did it a lot because I was trying to lose weight. And I did lose weight, but I hated it. So I don't do that. I don't like gyms. I don't go to gyms. So I found things that I wasn't sure that I would like. I actually gave myself the opportunity to try something, right? To try something. So I went online and I looked at all the millions, and there are millions of types of different exercise that exist. And I'm still discovering new ones.
There's always more.
So at first I thought, okay, aerobics sound right. I know aerobics are good. Let me look at that. So I looked at aerobics, and aerobics are good. If you like aerobics, you want to just get like a 15-minute or a 20-minute workout, it works. You sweat, your heart rate goes up, you use up calories, it works. I liked it for a while. I kind of got bored with it. I'm a very impatient person. I hate things that are repetitive. I just don't like it. So then I thought, okay, aerobics, I've kind of done that, been there. What else can I do? So I found Zumba. Zumba is kind of a set of aerobics. And I'm mentioning these things to you because I'm not sure you know about them. So I'm just mentioning. Zumba is like a mixture of aerobics and dance. Right? And it was created in other cultures. So some of the moves they're kind of interesting. They're kind of neat. And they usually have great music or terrible music, depending on which one you pick. And it makes you move around, and you kind of forget you're exercising because you're following these routines, and the time goes by fast. You get very sweaty, and you can do very short things. So I could do 20 minutes at first. Now I can do an hour. And there's different types of aerobics. I mean, Zumba. There's we're going to put out a whole list of exercises for you guys that you can try, all different things. There's a group called, this guy's Sulu, S-U-L-U. Fabulous guy, wonderful personality. It's kind of on the lower level, very low impact, really good. He's fabulous. You can tell he loves people and he loves Zumba.
Right.
And it's like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, right? And good music. Then on the other end of the spectrum, and there's everything in between, there's African Zumba and there is Brazilian Zumba. And then there's also Brazilian African Zumba. And the farther you go, the harder it is. And it's the higher level. It's still low impact, but it's very high intensity, right?
Some of it's dance moves. It's also, jumping and twisting and turning.
Kickboxing, boxing, everything mixed in. Sometimes jiu-jitsu and karate and all these moves, you recognize them. You realize what you're doing, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun.
Right.
And when you're at that level where you're trying to challenge yourself, that's why we say exploration of yourself. What is your comfort zone? Right? I thought my comfort zone was I'm going to do 15 minutes of aerobics. I got a good workout. Check. Good enough. I thought that was my comfort zone. But actually, it isn't. I get bored with that. I actually want to try new things, and so I'm still trying new things. So I already have tried those. I've tried kettlebell. Especially women over 40 years old, we lose muscle mass, right? You are going to lose muscle mass because you have more estrogen than testosterone. Phil, at the same age, will lose less muscle mass because he has more testosterone. Right? And unless I want to grow a mustache, I don't want to take the level of testosterone that he has. So that's not going to work for me.
Right.
So here's the problem. Without any resistance training, only aerobics, you are supporting your health, but you are not supporting your muscle.
Right.
And you need a strong core.
Right.
So you got to figure that out.
So it's a combination of resistance training, in other words, using weights, and aerobic exercise.
But by weights, we don't mean physical weights that you have to pick up. You can use your body weight. You can use your own body to create that kind of weight control or weight building. You don't ever have to get dumbbells or kettlebells.
But you can, certainly. We use kettlebell. We've used dumbbells in the past. We've gone to gyms and used weight machines too.
You can do that too.
But not everybody enjoys that. But Rosanna's right. As you get older, and generally our society is more sedentary, muscles tend to atrophy.
Right. It's also a metabolism thing. If you don't build any muscle, we can help you to stay at your goal weight. If you get to your goal weight or your goal level of fitness, we can construct a plan for you that will keep you there. But if you build muscle in your body now, when you get there, you will have more options with your food plan. You will have more options with your life because muscle tissue metabolizes energy very differently than tissue that is not muscle. Okay, right. So fat, you're still going to have a layer of fat. You're going to die, right? You have to have some. But without some good, strong, lean muscle, especially in your core, your metabolism is going to be slower. And for women over 40, which I am, those things are concerns for us because we already know that estrogen is going to help that happen. So we have to counteract that, right? By counteracting, all I mean is to create your BMI in such a way that you have enough lean tissue to support a healthy metabolism.
Right.
That's all. Now, some people never use a dumbbell, a kettlebell, a machine in a gym, or anything like that. You don't have to do that, but we will encourage you to start to find something, even if it's just your body weight that you're using, that helps build up some lean muscle. It's really important. This isn't us talking. Your doctor will say the same thing, right?
Because we hear all the time people that we coach that want to lose weight, they also have other health issues related to their weight gain. Sore joints, ankles, knees, back problems. I've had back problems in the past, and certainly losing weight has helped a lot.
Right. So if you go to a chiropractor, an orthopedist, a neurologist, any of those people that are helping you deal with, I'm going to just say pain. Okay. So it could be ankle, joint, knee, hip, back, neck, any of those things, anything related to bones and ligaments. Mm-hmm. If you say, what if I lost weight? They're going to say, they'll do a little jig and dance and clap because it makes it so much easier for them if you can do that. But the point that we're talking about building muscle is that it's supportive, right? So if you build up your core and you have back problems, you are going to see that outside of fractures, you will be able to have less pain because it's just a fact. Right. That's what happens, right?
Because we sometimes hear people that are trying to get into shape say, well, I'd love to exercise. I realize I need to lose weight, but I've got this back issue.
And it stops me.
Right. It's like I start exercising, my back hurts, and I have to stop.
Right. So getting to that point, so whatever fitness level you are, and of course we're going to talk to you individually, so you don't need to expose that here, but whatever fitness level you're at and whatever conditions that you're dealing with, there is something that we can help you to get involved in that will not make you painful, that will not add to your pain, but will build muscle in the right places to help you get past this. You can't do nothing. Okay, so the problem is, if we always did what we always did, if we continue to do what we always did, we will always be in the same position that we always were. We're not changing anything, right? So, for example, there are people that we know that have some problems. They have like scoliosis in their back, or they have some past injury they have to be very careful about, like a slip disc. I used to have a slip disc, sciatica, things like that. Those things need to be addressed by taking away some of the stress that's on them, which is weight. But on the other hand, you can't do some exercises because of them. And so there are things that we can suggest.
I know I've been in this place where my back's really bothering me. It's like, well, I'd love to exercise, but if I do X, it's going to hurt, and I want to stop. But I've realized that, and I'm not suggesting necessarily that you work through the pain or just ignore the pain. No.
But we need to find things that you can do that don't add to the problem. So here's an example. For people that are having like knee and hip and joint and ankle problems, and therefore they can't do an aerobic exercise, but they really need that. They need to up their heart rate. They need that for losing weight. There are actually something really intense. We've done them just to try them. Really intense, called chair exercises. Believe it or not. There is something called chair or bench exercises. Yes. They're on YouTube. You can go look at them. They're by different instructors. They're really good. Some of them are only 15 minutes. Some are a half hour. You work up to them. But basically, these instructors have figured out a way for you to use like literally every muscle in your body
while sitting in a chair.
Sitting in a chair. It's amazing. And we, not as people that were confined to a chair, did them just to test it out.
They're hard.
And they're hard.
They're very hard.
You're out of breath. You have had a good workout, but you have not stood up the entire time. And so I would suggest that think about that. If there's a reason that you think exercise is out of reach for you, let's talk it through and let's see what we can make happen. Right? It's really important because it's got to be part of your life.
We realize it's easy to make excuses, and people say, well,
because we've made them all.
We've made them all. It's like, well, this form of exercise won't work. This won't. So there's really nothing out there for me that works. So therefore, I won't exercise at all. Well, that's not going to help. In fact, that's going to make it worse.
Right, exactly. So we will talk with you individually, but what we want you to think about, nobody ever asks us, what do you want to do for fun? What would be really fun? And think about that, and let's see if we can branch that into things that either you will prepare to do, like the woman who wants to water ski. We will get her in shape. We will get her down in weight. We will get her toned and firm so that she has strong core. By the way, I water ski, or used to. When you water ski, the thing that helps you stand up is your core. If your stomach muscles aren't pretty toned, it's really hard to get up. You have to have that. And so we're going to make sure that she's buff so that she can do her water skiing, right?
Right.
Those kinds of things. Also, extra skin. We talked about this yesterday, but keep in mind that even if you're not worried about losing weight, you know you can lose weight just on keto, and people do. People lose plenty of weight by just following the food plan. But you've got to worry about the fact that if you're losing a ton of weight and you're not exercising, so you're not building any kind of lean tissue underneath your outer skin, when those fat layers are gone, your outer skin has nothing to attach to. It cannot attach directly to your organs as an epidural layer. It can't.
No.
So it has to attach to some fascia, some muscle and ligament or something. It has to attach to that. If it doesn't, that's loose skin, right? And so we want you to be in a position to feel and to look as good as you possibly can so that, this is a lifelong thing. Right. We don't want you to lose 80 pounds. I see these poor souls on social media. They've lost 80 pounds. My God, what an achievement. and they still hate their bodies.
Because
How horrible is that, right?
the skin is hanging from their bodies.
And they never knew that they were supposed to do some things to take care of that. And so we are reaching out, and we do have some suggestions, but it's kind of late